What's up, guys? It's Wednesday, so it's the Dynasty Pylon, so you know we have to be having a show, and you know we're going to have a fun time, all the shenanigans. I'm here with Mark, got Alec down below. What's up, guys?
How you doing? How's your mama? How we doing tonight, everybody? Welcome to the Dynasty Pylon. Thank you for having me.
You good, Mark?
I don't know. Am I frozen still?
No, you not frozen. See, look at you. Look at you. Not even a floating head, not frozen. We good to go.
And I'm digging that lumberjack beard you got going on.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have a picture of him without a beard, and it is the weirdest picture I ever saw in my life. I was like, what the hell? I thought he always had a beard. And he didn't like me saying it was the weirdest picture ever. It's right there. So. No, I think he just got kicked out.
Yeah.
We'll wait for Mark to get back in here real quick.
Sure.
There he is. Hey, now you look good, even better. But guys, let's go through the NFL news that what's been going on recently. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed with anybody.
Shocker.
Not a team. This dude sucks so much.
For real. Just retire already, Rodgers. Got nothing left.
Yeah, I need a slot opening for my team anyway. You need to go ahead and retire, bro. What up, Martin?
Hey, Martin. What's the happen?
Martin!
He's like, bye, Mark. Said it. Oh, man, appreciate you jumping in here, man. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the Pittsburgh Steelers can do except draft a rookie quarterback at this point. If you guys saw our Dynasty Pylon 2.0 mock draft simulator, we have them in all the ones we've had Pittsburgh's taking a quarterback and even trading back in to get one. Jackson Dart is going to have to go to Pittsburgh, and I would not be surprised if the Raiders trade back into the first round and take a quarterback too. Just watch.
Yeah.
What else have we had seen? So Justin Fields said that the benching has changed his view on everything. His perspective has been changed. He understands what he needs to be doing. I hope that's true. I hope that the Jets got a franchise type of quarterback, but who knows? Who knows? So I bet Aaron announces tonight McAfee is doing a live show in Pittsburgh tonight.
No, probably.
I needed that because
we all know
it. So I have a person that works in the NFL office that told me that the contract's already done. So I don't know. We'll see. Who knows with Aaron Rodgers?
Is this an Ian Rappaport official quote, you know?
No. This is someone who works in the NFL office that's seen something, but I have two friends that work in the NFL office that I knew from college. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that it comes through or he retires, because if he retires, I'll be so happy. I need him out of the damn NFL. He pisses me off every day.
He's no longer a Packer.
Why you wouldn't just drop him?
Listen, he's no longer a Packer. You have no reason to hate the man.
He was a Packer for too long. Every time I see him, just something. And it's funny because my AFC team is Pittsburgh. So I have no reason to hate him anymore. But somehow he'll screw up Pittsburgh. Watch Aaron Rodgers be the reason why Pittsburgh doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, probably their retirement contract. Oh yeah, for sure. You.
Hey, see you in here. Trying to hide and go quickly.
Yeah, she's now wrapped herself in a blanket. She's like, no one can see me.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, you're invisible now. You're invisible, girl.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love messing with people and then coming in and scream.
I love it.
So no, it's and everything on right now on Twitter saying they are expecting him to become a Steeler. Yeah. So
I mean, I just figured about it. But you would think you'd want to do. I mean, I guess it's not really doing anything, but still, I don't know. At least he's doing it before the draft.
Sure.
Not that I think either way it would deter them from getting a quarterback, but
no, I mean they're gonna draft a quarterback no matter what. And they messed it up. They had the best situation.
They did.
All you had to do was just go and tell Justin, yeah, you'll be our starting quarterback, and you'll been all right. Because even if he sucked, you're in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. There was a no-lose situation there. I don't know what they're thinking and what they're doing.
No, the Giants said, "You give us Russ so we can get Arch Manning."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the Colts said, "Hold my."
Yeah, and the Colts are like, "Yeah, well, we'll bring you Daniel Jones."
The competition between AR and Daniel Jones is not about who's the best; it's about who can lose the most games.
Right.
That's what it is. Cowboys agreed to Braden Smith. Braden Smith is now going to be Braden Smith is out with OCD. He says no, he doesn't like that the report. I remember hearing that because he was gone for like 5 weeks, right? 6 weeks,
something like that.
He was gone for a long time, and I was like, "What the hell is happening?" And he says he doesn't agree with the report, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Usually, the truth does come out, so I don't know. I don't hope anything negative for anyone. I hope that positive it works out for him. So I don't know anyone who would not want him to do well. So it doesn't matter. And then the Cowboys signed was it Sadiq Charles, offensive lineman, to a 1-year deal. They're out here doing bargain basement things. Does that make any sense that the Cowboys have been such bargain basement hunters?
Nah, I mean, it does make sense to me. Because when would they ever spend big money in free agency?
Not for a long time.
The last time they signed anybody to more than, was it $7 or $8 million, was Hardy in 2015.
Yep.
Greg Hardy.
And that's 10 years ago. So in the last decade, they haven't spent any money.
Damn. It makes me almost want to feel bad for Cowboys fans. Almost. Still don't care about them.
No one feels bad for the Cowboys, but I'm just saying. And then the Raiders cut Jack Jones after trying to trade him for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We hear that, but they just cut him. Is that surprising to anybody?
No, I mean, I feel like that's the way teams have been going. Just look at, Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
Are we headed that way with Jair Alexander at this point?
Especially if, it makes me almost wonder if the Packers go cornerback first round,
possible, then
wide receiver. So like, say Ravel's there, or Jahdae Barron is there. Do they go cornerback instead of going wide receiver? I don't know. I think that's a good segue into us breaking down these DBs, guys. We're going to look at both the safeties and cornerbacks. I mean, we have some really good ones. I mean, everyone has their list out. I want to do the top 10 overall DBs.
Are we doing just DBs, or are we doing DBs and safeties?
So cornerbacks and safeties, so all defensive backs.
Yeah.
Okay, defensive backs. Gotcha.
Yeah, so all defensive backs. So my question first is, guys, before we even get into the rankings, how many do you think goes in the first round?
Well, does Travis Hunter count as a cornerback, or is he a wide receiver? Because
he's entering the draft as a cornerback.
Yes.
So we got interim and as a cornerback, but
it also depends on which team picks him. That's the thing, that they could use him as a wide receiver more so than a cornerback. So I guess we at least have one for sure. There's a guaranteed one at number 3 spot for Travis Hunter.
He might be number 2. Cleveland might not. They're saying they like him a lot. I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have Travis Hunter going number 2 overall because they want someone that could play right away, because Abdul Carter's going to take some time. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Do you see anyone else besides Travis Hunter going?
In the first?
Yeah, in the first. I see like 5.
I was gonna say 5 or 6.
It's
Especially if
possible
you're
6.
safeties.
Yeah, it's definitely possible 6 because Starks jumps into the first round, which is probably going to be in the first round.
Mm-hmm. And then a lot of I've
Will
seen
Johnson.
the Vikings taking, the safety out of South Carolina. So
I think we got Will
into
Johnson, Starks,
Will Johnson, Barron.
There's going to be a good number of people that will go in the first round. I guess here's a better question: how many will go in the top 12?
2.
2.
Yeah.
So okay.
I think 2 in the top 12, 2 in the top 10. I would say 3 in the top 17, 3. I think the back end of the 20s, you're gonna get a lot of DBs coming in. I can see 3 to 4.
Who are the 2 that go in the top 10?
No,
obviously we know the one.
Travis Hunter definitely, and I think Will Johnson goes top 10. I think someone's gonna look at him and say, "We gotta get him." Even if it'll be can you believe Carolina could be that team maybe? I mean,
they were number 2. Jags
Carolina,
Jags were number 1 to get a corner.
They just say, we're going to try to get a lockdown corner that we know could play man-to-man, 6'2", running sub a 4.4 speed. Maybe we grab them instead. Instead, I think tight end is where they should go. That doesn't mean they're going to go that way.
No. Well, you know what they say, defense wins championships. If you have enough pieces on offense, might as well focus on the defense. But we're talking about Jacksonville, so I don't know if they have enough offensive tools to help out Lawrence. Excuse me.
I agree. I think that you need to go defense, but I don't know if can you pass up Mason Graham? That's the issue, right?
Well, is he worth? What are they? A top 5, top 6 spot, right? The Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's 5.
Yeah. So is he worth a top 5 pick? I mean, do they believe that he's a top 5 pick? I guess is the real question.
I think he's worth even more.
I
think if we're talking about talent wise, I'll put Mason Graham top 3 talent because I don't think Cam Ward should be there.
Oh, he might even be 2. He might be the second best prospect behind Carter.
Yep, Abdul Carter. It could be, and Mason Graham was right there. I mean, Travis Hunter is great, but you just don't know where he's going to fit in. Mason Graham changes everything. You can't run that way.
Is Travis Hunter good at 2 things, but not great at 1?
That's my consensus. Is that when I look at some of the tape, I do think he has the ability to be great at both positions. It would take time for sure, but I think his teammate on the opposite side of the ball, I think his overall rating or grading when it came to, I think it was man coverage, was just better than he was in man. But again, talk about a guy who plays both sides of the ball. It's kind of hard to judge a player like that, because he's more versatile than if anything.
And it's hard to say that because teams didn't want to throw at him. That's what made him interesting. You throw the ball near him. He's so good at ball.
But here's the real question: if he gets drafted, if he gets drafted, is the team going to make him choose, or is the team going to choose for him?
Depends on which one.
Like, hey, we'll let you do this every once in a while, but this is going to be your main focus. Or do they let him do both? I can't imagine a world where they let him do both consistently.
No, probably not both consistently, but you could use him on certain
drives for 3 or 4 years.
Don't use him in returns because you don't need to use him in returns. You could just simply use him, gadget plays on offense. Could use him in.
It depends on what team it is too.
True. You could use him as like a wide. Oh yeah, true. The team does matter ultimately, but you could use him like a wide receiver 3. Maybe put him somewhere. I mean, I don't know his top 40 speed on top of my head, but maybe put him somewhere in the slot, maybe on the outside occasionally.
He's a 4.4, but he's even quicker than he is faster. That's what makes him interesting. He's quicker than anything.
So you see, I mean, you could use him in certain, like I said, certain packages would work great on offense. But that's the thing: is the team going to use him more on offense, use him more on defense? He's definitely not a special teamer. I mean, it'd be great if he was for fantasy value's sake. Have him play all three, cha-ching, easiest pick of my life. But
I think you put him out. I think you might not. You might start him. You might put him out there as a punt returner. You might put him out there, which makes him really interesting.
Yeah, did he do returns though in college? I don't think he did he?
I believe I've seen him out there a couple times, but I mean, once again, he was playing so many times they didn't want to overuse him.
Yeah.
Martin says, I think Will Johnson will make a top 12 pick. Watch him go to the Saints too.
Not bad.
The question is, does Shedeur fall? If Shedeur falls, the Saints are saying they're looking at Shedeur Sanders. Don't they have to draft him?
I mean, you would think if Shedeur Sanders is there.
See, and that's a value pick right there. And I do love value picks. But again, their O-line was like the worst last year. Carr was amazing at just getting away from pressure and sacks. You're telling me that if Carr gets hurt, you want Sanders to sit back there and take constant pressure, constant sacks?
He's mobile enough to get out of the way.
He's very good with getting the ball out. He takes a lot of sacks, but
he knows what it's like to play behind a crappy offensive line.
Yeah, but it's like,
career.
But why? I mean, I get it. Like the value, I get it. But for me personally, if I was saying
a gold and black helmet, it's like written.
Listen, he'll party too much in NOLA. All right, trust. It'll go crazy.
I think he has his hand on straight. He's always been that guy. He's always been the main person. He's always had his head on straight. And he has the greatest. Wouldn't it be that bit different in Colorado?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it is a good fit for him because he's like, I already know how to run with a horrible offensive line. It's all good.
Yeah, and he just said, he'll hike, and if I get the ball out, it's great. If I don't, whatever. And he doesn't have to start. You give him a whole year. The rest of your draft, you work with your offensive line. Next year, you get a left tackle, and then if he shows he's good, then you start him. You let someone else take all the hits. And let him just learn how to
going into the following year, they're out of cap purgatory, so they can actually start building around Shedeur Sanders.
Exactly. Get your quarterback now.
I don't know. To me, like I said, I think it all starts with the interior line. You need a good line, otherwise your quarterback gets
killed. Can't all be the Eagles, okay?
Listen, the Eagles didn't become the Eagles Commanders, all right, until they got an O-line, all right? If it wasn't for that O-line,
they're not trying to be the Eagles or Commanders right now. They're just trying to find a guy. They're just trying to find a guy, and they'll build around them next time. Get out cap purgatory, or cap hell, really.
Oh, they never will.
Oh, yeah, cap
hell.
They'll
keep kicking that can down the road. They don't know how to.
No, they actually are one of the. They have a lot of free cap space after this year. For them, it's a lot. It's like 38 or something.
Oh, what space? That's crazy.
That doesn't sound.
That's why I said for them, that's a lot. But I'm just saying.
That can't be real. The Saints out of cap hell? No way.
I think a couple of people come off the books, and I think they reworked Derek Carr's contract. So
that I did hear. They did do that.
Well, I do think if they were to wait till next year, I think next year that they could get much better QB than what's in this draft right now. But you're right. If Sanders
once again, then you have to get. You can't get the guy now, so then that'll be the problem again. You can't get both guys. Get the quarterback now at 9, especially if you don't have a center or guard that you really want right now.
So, anyways,
so we have Will Johnson out of Michigan, who's pretty much the prototype of quarterback now, as a long guy who can defend against the ball. He's 6'2", runs sub 4.4. He's really the new wave of cornerbacks. I think he might be the best cornerback overall in the draft. But yeah, this guy could be it. What do you guys think about Will Johnson?
I was actually going to say the same thing.
I like him. I like
From a
him a
pure
lot.
corner standpoint, I do think Will Johnson is the best corner in the draft.
Yeah. I got nothing really bad to say about Will Johnson. In fact, I consider him better than Travis Hunter. But again, Travis Hunter's just that dual threat, so I get it. But Will Johnson, he's a playmaker. He can be a game changer for people.
I agree. Everything he does, it just changed the entire the defense changed because they couldn't throw. On his side of the field, they couldn't throw. So you have, Mason Graham rushing you, and you can't throw on one side of the field.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, you know what else is great for Will Johnson? He's 6'2". He's tall.
Yeah,
that
long,
is great.
Tall, fast.
Like, his measurements is great for a cornerback. Like, that's what you want. Yes, the height doesn't always matter, but at the end of the day, it'd be kind of great to have a guy who's actually tall, has great measurements. Because there are things that are wrong with him. You can always work that into his game. You can always work with him, but you can never change size.
Yeah, but that is the new wave of all of these guys right now. I mean, that's what you're getting all the time now. You're looking for guys like this one. Yeah, Travis Hunter is almost a receiver. So, like, he's also 6'1". He's, the difference with Will Johnson, I think he has a little bit more meat on his bones, which I like. I really do like it. See if I can pull one of the things I want to pull up real quick because we're talking about him.
Jahad Barron's overall grade was a 90.7.
Yeah.
Will Johnson's only a 76. Crazy.
All right, well, let's look at Will Johnson real quick. See if I
Sure.
can pull this up for you guys. I'm going to mute it. Make sure they don't take us off the internet.
And we're gone. It was great being with you guys. I'll see you later.
Exactly. Here we go.
Hey, Michigan guy.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got from you. You guys can't hear this.
All right, let's see here. Look at that. That was nice. That was nice.
Look at it. Look at that tackle.
That's a great tackle. I mean, these are obviously highlights and not film, but like still.
No, but if you saw this film, like teams did not throw this side.
No. I agree. Like I said, I consider him to be one of the best.
Did you see that break on that ball, guys?
Yeah.
Did you see that he diagnosed it immediately?
Oh, he has amazing instincts.
I think he's so smart that the problem is exactly. Damn it, Braden, took it out of my mouth. He's not that big of a gambler. Yeah.
No, it's true. He doesn't have to be a huge ball hawk. In fact,
is he gonna be one of those guys that, like, yeah, I'll make the big play, but I also might allow the big play?
No.
This is what Barron says. He's a little fragile and a little over aggressive on double moves. Well, he's not fragile because he's 6'2", 202 pounds. That's a big corner. He just throws his body in there.
Yes, he definitely is not afraid.
It's funny because I was going to say the same thing. You need to flip the screen.
Yeah, you guys can flip the screen, but when you download it as a PP and you add it as a file, that's the new way of doing things in here. You can't do that, guys.
Yeah, no.
Didn't know that.
But no, I don't see him much of a ball hawk, but I see him as a guy who's a great tackler, And for a cornerback, that's kind of huge. He's good in coverage. He's great as a tackler. He doesn't ball hawk too much. Like, I think he had only 2 interceptions in 2025. I think. But he doesn't have to be. A great corner is the guy who actually doesn't always have all those stats, because that means he's doing his job. That's what a lot of people, when they are looking, especially if you talk about fantasy, when you want a cornerback, you don't want a guy who, fantasy you do, but in real life, you don't want a guy who has all these impressive numbers of interceptions and whatnot. It's great, but that also means he probably also gives up big plays, and he probably gets a little tuggy with his hands. Probably gets
he does. He's very physical. He does do that a lot. That's
true. That's why you would want a guy who's a lockdown corner. Now in fantasy, you care about a guy who gets tackles, who makes the big plays. But that's harder to gauge in fantasy football. But this guy right here, he has all that success going for him. But yes, maybe a little too aggressive. Maybe keep your hands to yourself sometimes, and I think he'll be all right.
I mean, just
I mean, if he
really
gets the
good
benefit of the
spot.
doubt, like Sauce Carter does all the time.
It's gonna take. I think his first year he might be a little bit of a problem, but his second year it's gonna be good.
That's the thing. These guys will progress. I always
The
like
only
to
real
say,
worry I have
go to the 3-year mark. What's up, Mark?
Yeah. The only real issue I have with him would be his top speed. I feel like a speedy receiver could get behind him.
Yep.
But that being said, you even saw it in one of the plays where the receiver did get behind him, but he was still able to make the play.
Because he's so long and he jumps out of the freaking building. He is such man. He's such an athlete, and that's what you see that you're like, okay, yo. I mean, his 40 was a 4.39 is not bad, right? So I don't see that as an issue. His arms aren't the longest in the world, but he is really good as being an athlete. He is literally, if you created a player and you wanted him to play in this NFL, this is him. This is what you want. So I like him a lot. All right, and then after him,
who else we got? Who else we talking about? Ooh, boy from Texas.
Jahan Barron.
Jahan
Barron, Texas.
Jahan Barron, right?
Jahan, yeah, I was gonna say
Jahan Barron, yeah, and who he definitely belongs in the NFL, right, guys? We definitely know that he's fast. He gets more interceptions. He makes tackles, but he's smaller. He's 5'11". He's 194 pounds. He had a decent combine workout. I don't think he's the unbelievable athlete a lot of these other ones are, but overall, scouts love him. They said when you look at the tape, he is good. He's able to play. And he played in the top competition in the SEC. So I like him. I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick. What do you guys think?
I mean, I can see it.
For sure. Well, he's also very versatile. He can play many positions on the field.
I think he's definitely he could be nickel. I think he's a guy that you're going to put
nickel. He can even play safety.
Prototype is how I would describe him if we're talking about that. I mean, if I didn't look at any of his tape, I could just look at the size, look at his speed, look at everything that you're saying. I'm like, yeah, this guy would fit as your outside, inside, could play a little bit over the top. Great, better for fantasy football value in that perspective. You always want the nickel corners. You don't want the outside guys. And I mean, let's just look at his highlights here,
He makes a lot of plays. He catches the ball. He has good return still. Yeah. His catch up. Look at that. That fight against that block. That's a really, really good play. That's a hard play for corners to make.
Fun fact for you guys. Texas, the Longhorns, they have one of the most strictest conditioning workouts out of any college team. And they train their guys to be all about that speed, all about that conditioning. So it doesn't surprise me that this guy would play that way because it's the DNA. I only know that because I know a guy who's down there in their facility, and he tells me all the time, yeah, we believe in 4 a.m. workouts for our freshmen and whatnot.
We all do that. That's
it sucked. He's like, trust me, and we work them like dogs because we want to see who's actually a dog or who's just going to be a bench warmer for life. So
don't be late.
Yeah. Oh God, no. Hell no.
I was late. I was running late one time, right? And I literally ran every light going to practice. Parked my car, just I left it in neutral and just jumped out, grabbed my helmet and ran into the facility. They're like, whose car is still on?
Oh,
I didn't care. If y'all still,
I don't know that guy.
I ain't going.
I don't know that guy. Nope. But isn't that your car? Nah. Never seen before in my life. I have a red version.
So he might be a little shorter, but he's still built. He's 200 pounds.
Man.
Look at these tackles are really good. He's very physical against the routes. He's disrupting a lot of these quick routes. But isn't that exactly what you want from a nickel corner?
Right.
especially because now nickel is now played. Was it 60%, 68% of the time nickel is being played in the NFL. Nickel or dime.
Roughly, yes.
And so basically, your nickel corner has to be able to fight, and they have to be able to tackle, and they have to be able to hit the running back and be like almost like a linebacker playing corner.
Right. That's what's crazy too, because you think about like teams' rosters, 2 linebackers, but you want 3 good corners now.
Yep,
you do, and that's just the way the NFL is. Because the NFL seems to be that for D line, they want guys who are fast, but also ginormous freaks of nature in the middle. They want linebackers to be that hybrid where they are really good at coverage, but also really good at reading offense and be able to get in there for blitzes. And they want at least 3 good corners and 2 extremely good safeties. I mean, it's a passing league for a reason. So you need those guys. And the Vikings are probably one of the best at identifying a really good defensive back.
I think the Vikings are just so aggressive that they can grab the same aggressive guys all the time. They know they've been coached so well. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of where it comes down for them.
That coach is awesome for that.
Mm-hmm. Brian Flores.
Yeah, Brian Flores, I mean, is a head coach. If he didn't F
we
up
did the same thing
else,
in Miami. Remember when Miami was like, "Oh, look at this secondary" when Brian Flores was there.
If he didn't, I'm telling you, if he didn't do the stuff he did to Tua, or Tua could not be whatever he is, man, he would have been a really good head coach. I think I like the way he does his stuff. I like the way he holds people accountable, but he's not a dick like what's his name, Eric Bieniemy. Because Eric Bieniemy.
I still remember seeing that report when they were firing Ron Rivera, and the offensive players like, "Please don't make him head coach. Please don't make him head coach."
Nah.
Y'all be running
Anthony. We did not get to Nick yet. We did not get to him.
You'll be running wind sprints against all the time with him. It's crazy. He is weird. But he's not weird. He's an old school coach, and that's just what it is with him.
Yeah, old school for sure.
All right, so we talked about the 3 top corners, in my opinion. I think Rebel deserves to be in that list too. We gotta look for him. He might be a back first round pick.
6'3",
6'3", what 4'4", 193 length. Unbelievable traits. But before we get into that, I'm gonna get into a guy who's bigger, faster,
bigger, better.
he might be the most scary guy in the entire defensive backfield as far as all defensive backs. I like Nicky Memori is amazing. I look at him and I'm like, how can you be 6'3"? How can you run 4.38? How can you be that aggressive? I don't understand how it's possible. Like, would you have a guy who could play, who's so big, he's basically another linebacker on the field for you, that still runs 4.38? That doesn't happen, guys. He gets interceptions. He gets interception yards. He tackles. He does everything you want. His wingspan is over 78 inches long, guys. His arm length is longer than Will what's his name? Will Campbell's. Will Campbell's trying to play left tackle. Nicky Memori's arm length is longer. That's my problem. This guy broad jump was 138 centimeters. His vertical was 43 inches. His 10-yard sprint was 4.9. I mean 1.49. I'm sorry, 1.49. The dude is a physical freak. So I love this one. This is the one.
This guy played 19 snaps on the D line.
he can put his hand down and just let him go, man.
I was just looking at this. He played, it said 2024 breakdown. He played 19 snaps on the D line, 146 in the slot, 1 at corner, 193 deep, and 414 in the box. 414.
Dude, he's a linebacker. He's playing safety.
I like seeing that.
Look how big he is. He looks like a dude playing with 8th graders, like a grown man playing with 8th graders. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I think Memori is going to go probably like 18, 19, somewhere like that. But you guys think it's, I don't
You
know
guys
if you're
didn't hear
going to
anything I said, did you?
Yeah, exactly. You good Saints or Pittsburgh.
I was talking and I said my whole thing, and then I looked up and everything was just spinning. I was like, "Oh, cool."
No, we heard you. No, we heard you. We
Oh,
heard
did you? Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell because my computer was being weird. So, but 414 in the box, that's insane.
Yes, I mean, but that means
That's
he's a strong safety. But in this hybrid age,
So
you need a strong
Kyle
safety that can
Hamilton-ish?
also play. Exactly. He's Kyle Hamilton.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you see him getting drafted, guys?
I've seen some mock drafts where Minnesota takes him, which would be insane.
Damn.
Scary.
That defense would be so great, until the playoffs, and then they let everybody down like they do every year. But besides that,
I don't know if their
good.
offense is good enough to get there.
Yeah, that remains to be seen.
Well, no, he'd be great there. No,
jeez.
he'll be gone. He'll be gone before then, but he wouldn't be bad on the Commanders, but he'll be gone before the Commanders.
Going to try to draft him now.
Just to be
Kyle Hamilton in the second round. Come on,
he has a boner.
He already has two
safety.
safeties. I like him in Seattle.
I'm sorry, I took Kyle Hamilton in the second round.
So, do you like
top
him?
safeties in the NFL?
I like him in Seattle because he's Cam Chancellor.
I was about to say. Are you about to say he's Cam Chancellor?
But better. He's better ball skills. Cam Chancellor was good one way. He's more fluid. He's more athletic. He's more explosive. This guy's
what you're really saying then is he needs to find his way to Las Vegas.
To the
That's
show.
what Pete Carroll is.
Ooh.
How you doing?
That's it.
They probably have to trade back up into the first, but
I may have missed it, but thoughts on Travis Hunter? We actually know we're going through the other guys, and then we're going to talk about the main two with video a little bit later. But we kind of talked about Travis Hunter, but we really focus on him because I think everyone knows who he is. We're going to go back up after we hit these other guys before we do that. So, but there's no physical freak in this draft better than this guy.
Oh, there he comes. Here comes the boom.
Look at him. That's a linebacker. That's a linebacker. Side to side like that.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the field.
I also really appreciate these highlights because let's zoom in on him real quick. And then boom.
He's making plays. He can rush the passer. He can do everything. The dude is amazing.
Heck yeah.
Interception. And he can play nickel corner for you guys. He can play nickel corner if you need to.
So then you think that he's the best safety in this whole draft then?
He's my number one.
Yeah.
He's my number one.
I can agree with that. Oh, God, that hit was so ruthless. And then there he goes.
Exactly what Anthony just said. That's high praise. That guy might be the best safety we've ever seen. But
Sean Taylor. Hey, now.
Okay, I don't know if I could go better than Sean Taylor. That's a tall order.
There's three safeties out there in my Mount Rushmore. Ronnie Lott, Ed Reed, and Sean Taylor. That's my Mount Rushmore. But Ed Reed couldn't get on the field, guys. That's how good Sean Taylor is.
Nah, you're right. I'm gonna pump the brakes on calling him any big name until he puts his jock strap on and he plays an actual NFL down. Until then, I'll just say that he might be worth the hype, but I want to see if it translates in the NFL.
I like it.
He's not worth the hype according to PFF. They have him ranked as the 70th prospect.
Overall? Well, I mean, no.
I don't like PFF all their stuff.
Yeah.
I think a man zone slot.
They got Xavier Watts ahead of him,
and they're wrong. Especially how it translates to the NFL. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Said no Brian Dawkins, shameful. No, he's not on the Mount Rushmore of safeties.
Who was? I didn't. My computer froze, so I don't know.
Listen, I'm about to cry a shout.
Your three Mount Rushmore.
So Ed Reed, Ronnie Lott, and Sean Taylor. That's my Mount Rushmore. That's my safety. Those are my safeties.
I mean, Mount Rushmore does have 4 heads, so you could.
I'm not putting another one. I'm not putting another one on there.
I will, and Brian Dawkins will go there. I will put one there. F Brian Dawkins. Well, F you, buddy boy. You know.
Yeah. John Lynch, no. John Lynch is not. Brian Dawkins way before John Lynch.
Yeah, listen. Brian Dawkins.
It's hard to argue Ronnie Lott, though.
No. I like
it, right? You know, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Ed Reed, obviously, clearly one of the best.
Listen, Ed Reed was a great.
You got 2 Miami Hurricanes on there.
But that's what I'm saying.
You're right.
Sean Taylor was so good, Ed Reed couldn't get on the field, guys.
That's they were at Miami together.
They were there together. That's why I don't think everyone even understands how good these guys are. You know, that's why
Brian Dawkins is that Miami team was. How many of those people were impactful in the NFL?
Yeah,
no, it's true. It's true. There's a few of them, especially in that golden era of football where smash mouth football was the thing to do. And you can actually body slam people.
So here's my question for you. If you had a third one, who are you going? You going Troy Polamalu? Going Brian Dawkins? You going Darren Woodson, who won more?
Darren Woodson.
You know, you going Eric Berry? Or you going John?
I would go Eric Berry, but I don't think he had the longevity.
So who's your fourth then?
Wow.
Because I mean, everyone loves you like Brian Dawkins, right? Because that's your team, right? But when you really put him next to Troy Polamalu, is he really on that same level?
Yes.
I don't know if he is.
I do. I look. See. For me, I'm fortunate, just like you guys, to watch both of them. But I actually watched them both closely because my mom was a Steelers fan, and I'm an Eagles fan. So I watched them both, and I will say, out of both of them, Troy Polamalu has probably the best highlight out of them all.
He's the better highlight. He's the better tackler. Brian Dawkins is probably the better coverer.
You know, he's better coverer. Although I will say, both of them in an open field, they would hit you hard. There's a great
Rodney Harrison.
Oh, yeah, Rodney
Harrison.
Yeah. But
Charles Woodson is at the end of his career, but I feel like he's more of a cornerback.
Yeah. I was gonna say because I do like Charles Woodson a lot, but no,
Charles Woodson's on this list too, but I was like, he was a corner for more than he was a safety in my opinion.
Yeah, so for me, it's Dawkins just because I watched him. He hit hard, he covered well, and it was more so how much of a leader he was for that entire defense. And
you know what hurts him for me, and which is not fair. They didn't win.
I mean, are you really going to talk that down to like one person though? When you're going against the greats, right? When you're talking about the greats, that has to add up into it. Not that it's the only thing that matters. Am I going to say he's not a great player? No, I'm talking about the Mount Rushmore, right? So I'm saying, like, does that put you in the right place? I don't know. I think not winning hurts you. So then what about like Dan Marino as a quarterback? He never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's why he's never in my top 5. Never in my top 5. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Dan Marino's not in my top 5.
Well, I get it. You're a Bears fan. I understand. Y'all aren't too comfortable winning much. I understand, I get it.
It's crazy. I'm looking at this list, top 15 safeties of all time. And there's a pair of teammates.
Yeah.
Only pair. Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No.
And those are the best, probably the best duo,
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I was like, damn. That's crazy.
So Braden's asking a good question.
What's up?
He says, so Barry Sanders isn't on the Mount Rushmore of running backs? It adds to it. So it adds to it. But when you're that much better than everyone else, I think it changes. So Dan Marino will be good, but when everyone else caught up to him, it changed. So that's why I have him. I've had Dan Marino at my sixth spot for years. 6. That's not outside the top 10. The dude was amazing, right? But it adds to it. But Barry Sanders, who are the greatest of all time, right? We're talking about Sweetness with Walter Payton. Yep.
Yeah.
When you're talking about when the tops only have 1 Super Bowl, and you don't have any, it's different than one that has 7, 6, 3, 5. It changes. You know, that's what it changes. You know, Troy with 2, not having 1 changes it. You know, but I do agree. I mean, Brian Dawkins is right there. So I mean, it's Brian Dawkins or Troy Polamalu for me.
Yeah, both are tremendous. Yeah. Plus, you know, Troy gets an edge because of that luscious hair. My goodness, those Head and Shoulder commercials.
You know, the other thing I think hurts Dan Marino too is like 20 years ago, Dan Marino would have been easily.
He went thrown for 7,000 yards. He went through 7,000 yards in this NFL.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like 20, 30 years ago, he would have been number 1.
He was just ahead.
But because of the way
time,
the NFL is now, quarterbacks are just like willy-nilly.
Yep. Yeah. No one's ever been able to throw the ball like Dan Marino.
Mm-hmm.
No one. It's not even.
Whereas running backs are going in the opposite direction.
Well, no, man. You say that, but then we might have 2 all-time greats right now playing. When we sit down and we look at it at the end, we might find 2 guys playing right now that might end up being all-time greats.
Anyway, so back to our list of DBs.
Well, I do want to look at someone else. So there's 2 guys that on my list that I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
Savon Revel Jr. He's really fascinating. We all know about his story. We all know how amazing he is. I think he's really interesting because you just don't know how good he really can be. You don't know, and that's hard. And him to not leave Eastern Carolina, stay there because they gave him that opportunity.
Like he was getting offered NIL deals by everybody.
Dude,
and he said, nope, staying here.
Yep. They gave my chance. They made my opportunity. I didn't have to work at Amazon anymore. And he stayed. He could have made millions of dollars. And he stayed. That's the type of quality guy that you want. He reminds me of Ray Davis. I don't know if you guys know Ray Davis, the Buffalo Bills running back. He has another great story. Another one who's just an unbelievable story. And I think this is another.
Did you hear about the day that he had his tryout?
No.
He literally got done working an 8-hour shift and then waited 2 hours for his dad to finish his 10-hour shift at the same warehouse. They then got in the car and drove to Eastern Carolina for his tryout.
Dude, first of all, that says a lot about his father, too. I gotta say
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Well, his father said from the beginning he knew the talent that his son had.
If he would have taken high school seriously, he probably
I was going to say that's the only.
He wasn't eligible for D1. He couldn't get to 2.0.
That was the only thing. But the way he turned it around, though, and then not only that, but even to get into Eastern Carolina, they said you got to get up to 2.5. So he literally went back,
right there. Wow,
raised his GPA to a 2.5.
Now, keep in mind that this is also against Michigan, which is a top school.
Yes, exactly. Wow.
That's something that I always care about. I care about tangibles. I care about the story, but also something like this. Who are you playing? Because that does matter. You know?
Well, if you're saying that, then I mean, we could say Michigan. This is a good Michigan team. This past the year, they are terrible. So, but this is good JJ McCarthy. But they weren't unbelievable this year either.
Yeah. The only other issue with him is he's coming off ACL tear.
Yep.
But if anyone can handle it, I think it's him. So
where do you think that puts him as far as getting drafted? Is that the thing that stops him from getting in the first round?
The ACL?
Any mock drafts where he goes in the first.
I've seen a couple. His arms are longer than Eamon Warrior's.
I personally, if he's there, I wouldn't mind the Commanders taking him. Only because we've seen from our mock drafts, if we take an edge rusher first, there's no corners left by the time we pick again.
Well, and then edge rusher is the same way, though, because if you don't take the edge rusher down, there's going to be no one left. Defensive tackle is the only position that's like super, super deep.
Unless we
trade up.
Swing a trade, yeah.
The dude is. I mean, you see these plays he's making. They're.
No,
He's obviously
I
the
like
best player
Rebel
on
a
this
lot.
field. He's the best player on the field. That's the hard thing. He's that guy.
Mhm.
But what happens when you're not the best player on the field? How does that translate? I don't know. But you know that he's going to work hard. He's not going to get outworked by anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like the character, the work ethic is there. Like he's gonna get his shot. You know he's not gonna take it for granted.
No.
100%.
He's like, I know what it's like on the other side. I ain't going back there.
He's been where we are right now, guys. With all that talent. And once again, 6'2", 194. Like
are we hypothetically over here? We can't open up this can of worms.
I saw it and I decided not to say anything because I don't know.
I don't do the what ifs, sir.
Nah.
I don't know.
For all we know,
Ed Reed made every play
gone
ever.
To the Eagles and made them a playoff team.
Yeah. He made every play, but he was also behind probably the greatest middle linebacker in our modern generation. Yeah. So like, it's hard. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, you know, the middle of your field solidified when you got Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Like, you know, when you can't throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
Most
our offense is going to need to focus on the outside, both running and passing. We're not doing anything on the inside.
Most of Revel's measurements are roughly in the 77th percentile. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good.
There's one thing that's a real red flag by Rebel.
And
someone who's going to have to play in the box, someone who's 6'3", that we're talking about this physicality, only 12 reps on the bench. Mm-hmm. That works.
Yes, because that ranks in the 27th percentile. So that's not good.
And what that does, you think, it doesn't matter at corner. It really does. Some of these wide receivers are beast. You know, right now, you know, if you go, I know personally about DJ Moore, right? DJ Moore right now could go put 20 reps on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
He's not trying. He's just that strong.
Yes.
DK Metcalf is a monster. He's going to put 30 up there on the bench. Like, you know what I'm saying? These guys are very strong. If you're not NFL strong, I don't know. 225 is a warm-up. I could do 15 as a warm-up. You know?
Big man.
But he's an NFL caliber guy who wants to use his physicality to be that. It probably will take him a year to translate. So, just saying. Yeah, but once again, I don't want to put water on him. He's going to be good. He's worked hard. He can get stronger. You get stronger naturally. You know. Yep. As you get older, you get stronger. So eventually he's going to be there. I'm just saying, don't be sad if he doesn't convert right away.
With the ACL injury, how often was he even lifting until then?
That's what you will do all the time. In my mind, this is all.
Put on the weight, put on the strength. Because clearly, if you can't bench that much.
I can't do anything else. The only thing I'm doing is. Mm-hmm. But he might not want to have gotten bigger. So,
All right.
And the last guy I want to talk about probably doesn't have all the unbelievable measurables. He's still 6'1". He was a 4.5 40. He's probably the most elite against run defense. He makes unbelievable flashes. He played on one of the best defenses in entire college in NCAA. Malachi Starks.
I knew it.
An interesting guy.
I knew you were going to talk about
Georgia. Sign him up. He's going to the Eagles.
I knew you were going to say some shit like that. I already knew.
Is it wrong?
No. No. I hold my tongue on that. I don't like that you're right, but you're right.
This is what
it
is.
The Commanders in Alabama there for a minute, you know?
Yeah.
So let's take him look at it once we go around. As I say, he played against the best competition, guys. There's no one who played against better people on time in, time out, over and over, the best competition. He is good,
That's
man,
that's
but he challenges every catch. He goes up there and goes after every ball. I love this kid. I don't think anyone's going to tell you that he can't play in the NFL.
yeah. Okay, but no, I like to watch the tape. I like to see all of what he does well, and right there, that's great awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wow.
You see him? He plays the run really well. He plays double moves pretty well. He's strong. He's athletic. He's not fast. But he's a safety. He's a usual safety, guys. This is what he really is. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I'm watching the highlights, and you're definitely right. He seems to always be going after the ball. Part of me gets worried though, if you're always aiming for that ball, where are your hands going outside of that? I mean, it's fixable, which is good, but I'm looking at every single play. It's almost like he's almost wrapping underneath the guy already initiating the tackle on most of these highlights. And in college, they're a little bit more lenient about some of those things, but in pros, they start flagging you if you are all over that person, even if the ball is like right there. They often, players in the NFL are always like, where's the flag? Where's the flag? And sometimes they get it from the refs. That's really my only criticism with someone who's going to be that.
Those are the Saints in the playoffs trying to go to the Super Bowl.
Yes, no, of course, because money line, that is the worst call I think I've ever seen.
Or if you're Sauce Gardner, they never call any of his, and he's always grabbing and
pushing. He's got the commissioner on speed dial. He'll be fine.
So he had over 2,000 snaps in college, played over 41 games. When we said the number one defense, in college football for overall for those 3 years. My problem with him, I think, is his speed and him taking chances and not being fast enough to catch up. Is that a problem for him? And would that be a problem in the NFL?
You know what?
Oh, for sure in the NFL.
It could be a issue. I mean, I think
make a mistake in the NFL, you're going to pay.
Yes, I agree with that. But just looking at the kid, he does so much well that's coachable, that's fixable. Those little.
Oh, I don't disagree. If he lands in the right spot,
I mean,
the right coach.
There's a lot of even cornerbacks that when they started out, they were super aggressive and they would fall for double moves so much, but then they learned to just be more settled, move their hips more, less about in your face, So I don't think it's going to be too much of a worrisome. Yeah, he might give up a big play here and there, but then he'll make a big play to make up for it. That's how I look at him. He's probably going to be a starter too. I think probably day one. Day one. Yeah, he's too talented in my mind to not be a starter somewhere.
Yeah, but once again, you make a mistake in the NFL, you might not have another opportunity. Everyone there is great. Everyone in the NFL, and that's the fear. If everyone is great, you don't seem to be that great. So I remember going into college when I think I'm great in high school, and I'm great. I'm that dude.
Of course.
Then you get there and you realize everybody was that dude. Yeah. And some of them are better than you. Are more athletic, could jump higher, haven't been injured, they have all those things. So it depends on how you deal with that. I was not the best one for dealing with that ever. But yeah, can you deal with a person that's that skilled?
I think sure. I don't got no quarrels.
Said, if he goes to the right place, learns from the right people. If he goes to somewhere that already has, going back to the Vikings, he goes to Minnesota, he's got Harrison Smith to help him.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. If he goes to somewhere where there's already, veteran there to help him, I think you can get through that kind of stuff. Right coaching staff, obviously, doesn't hurt.
I think Minnesota will be a really good place. That's a really good
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've seen Nick go there more than I have him, but that would be another good landing spot for Starks too.
Well, I mean, multiple people could be drafted for that position. You know.
There's just so many good DBs coming out of this draft that we can appreciate, and some of them that are going to be ranked way lower. But if it was any other year, they'd be like a top 5, top 10 type of guy,
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really. It's one of those drafts where you just pick a guy because he's your personal favorite that you think for your team would have the best fit, and you're fine with that because you know that there's a bunch of other guys that around him that are also. I don't want to say just as talented because NFL talent is all subjective.
Mm-hmm.
You could be talented at, let's say, run stopping, but need work in the coverage game. So it's all subjective. But I think it's just another one of those guys. Same thing with like running backs
Also,
this year.
scheme fit. It's also scheme fit.
Scheme fit
Can you
is very
fit in that
important in
scheme?
baseball.
You know.
Yes. It's very important in the NFL. Again, I say the same thing about running backs this year. You can't go wrong with like 6 or 7 of them. You really can't. It all matters about landing spot at that point. So, anyways.
Well, we got one other guy. I figure we might as well go and get the main guy out the way. Let's look at him. There's nothing else you can say. There's nothing else you can say about him. The man had 96 receptions for 1,258 yards and 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. What the fuck?
What the fuck? What's going on?
That's the only defensive stat. Oh, there it is. I was like, where's his other defensive stats? Why is there only one?
36 tackles, pass defense, 1 forced fumble. The dude is it. You don't know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Travis Hunter. Come on. The dude is it.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, he was a Heisman winner, which, depending on how you look at it, could just have been, it's a celebrity award, just in a.
No, this dude made plays. If he wants to focus on one side of the ball, I think when he focuses on that side of the ball, he could be the best. He could.
Well, it definitely would do him some good.
Catch. Look at that catch. Like, what the is it possible that I see his hands? He reminds me of Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen him do a one-hand catch yet,
Yeah, that's one thing. But I see him catch everything that's thrown to him. He doesn't drop passes.
Well, very impressive kid. But I just want to see what he plays, because he can clearly do both at a really high level. But again, my opinion on him still kind of stands. I think he can be great at both, but I don't think he'll master both.
Oh my God. If Deion Sanders tells you you can master both, doesn't that change your opinion a little bit?
Yeah, but even Deion mostly played corner.
Yeah, but I'm saying if Deion, someone that good, say this guy might be able to do it. He might be. He's better, more talented than I am.
There's the biggest issue. Like, if you have him playing both, he's going to have a short career.
No, I agree. I think 6 years.
You can't get banged up on both sides of the ball for an entire game.
Look at God.
think your body's going to hold up. It just won't.
I think he'll get hurt on the tackles. I don't think so. We talk all these cornerbacks that we talked about, and that's why we talked about it last. Because all the corners we talked about are physical specimens. They are powerful. They weigh a lot. They're long. He has one of the shortest arm lengths. I don't know if he, as a corner, matches up with the best guys, but as a wide receiver, he does.
Actually, you know what? Let me check his measurements right here. Okay, so looks like 40 time was 4.4. At least that's so that's not bad. Weight was 188. His arms is 31 and 3/8. So that's close to the 50 percentile. His hands are 9 and 1/8. That's 48 percentile. So his measurements aren't bad for a corner, and I do like his height being 6 foot. I'm definitely a big fan of corners to be at least 6 feet, if not,
He's 6 feet and 5/8. So like that's why he could be 6 feet on one, he could be 6'1" on the other. He's interesting. He had 9 career interceptions.
I think so. Let me double check.
Something like that. You gotta look at the
9 career interceptions. Yeah,
let's hear. Yeah.
So he's been making plays all the time, and it didn't matter where he plays.
6 career defensive touchdowns.
Yeah. So you see,
because you throw the ball to him, he could catch just as good as your wide receiver. He might run the route better.
You see, he could be, if he just stuck with defense, he could be like the defensive version of Devontae Smith. What I mean is that Devontae Smith came into college as a cornerback, but then they moved him over to wide receiver because they thought that he would fit better given his size, would be better as a wide receiver. But he knew both sides of the ball very well, and this guy actually played it at a high level in college.
Every snap.
He played every snap. So what that tells you is that he could very well be that guy on cornerback because, like I said, big playmaker. What this tells me is that if this guy's touching the ball, he wants to score. He's hungry for that end zone. He's a dog for that end zone. I would want him on my team, you know, even if he's not playing offense at all. That tells me with, what do you say, 6 defensive touchdowns?
6 defensive touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That's just insane to me. You know how hard it is to get a defensive touchdown as a cornerback?
Well, he had 5 2 seasons ago and 1 this past season.
But still, you know.
He had 16 regular offensive touchdowns, so he teams stopped throwing his way. They just stopped.
Yeah, you know, so clearly he's got everything that it takes. We just need to see who he goes to. How are they going to use
superhero landing on a flip?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no. Well, listen, I'm not down in his tremendous athlete.
Superhero landing on a flip.
I don't have him as my number 1 corner, but as a wide receiver, you know, if you play a wide receiver, I mean, actually, that's a good question. Where would you guys have him ranked as a wide receiver?
But let's be fair, it's not going to be too hard to be the number 1 wide receiver in this draft class.
True.
He'll be number 2 for me.
So McMillan's number 1 for you, or?
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
McMillan's number 1. Travis Hunter would be number 2.
Yeah. And it's funny because then I would have someone like Will Johnson as number 1 for corners, and then I would have Travis Hunter probably number 2.
Number 2.
Because, yeah, number 2, number 3. Like that again. I just cannot stress enough. I just want to see where.
So then I told you what kind of prospect he is. Is if in this draft, he's going to be a wide receiver.
He could, man.
That would
in
be
this draft. He could be everything. You need to get him as a rookie because then you're gonna have both. You're gonna have the hottest. He's gonna be the cornerback, wide receiver, dual positions. For now, you need him right now because that's gonna go away because he's eventually gonna be a wide receiver all the way because he's so good at wide receiver. Hey, hello, Moto. How y'all doing, Travis? I think it's sticking to wide receiver because he saw what corners make and quoted me. No, that not real money. No.
Nah.
DK got 30. Travis like, hold my Heisman. I'm going for that.
Yeah.
Corners are making good money too. Didn't someone just sign $25 million?
No.
Horn?
Yeah, Horn. JC Horn just got like $30 million something this season. Okay,
exactly.
He is the highest paid corner in the league. But.
So is that resetting the market then?
I think corner and wide receiver are going to continue to go up. You can make $10 million more at wide receiver.
You need to pay your wide receiver to keep him, and then you got to pay a corner to guard the wide receiver.
Exactly. Like you have a quarterback, you have your defensive end, your edge rusher.
Bella, I can hear you barking. We can hear you barking.
He's like, I know. I'm telling you.
I'm telling y'all. Travis Hunter, play wide receiver.
He's the man.
Play wide receiver. Let him do both. Come on, coach. Yeah.
I think you got to check him out. That's the biggest thing. You have to see if he's going to contribute right now. You need to win now. I can see him going in front of Abdul Carter.
How crazy is it to be the number 2 corner and the number 1 receiver?
That'd be pretty cool.
That's just him. You win. You're winning. Like this guy is winning.
It could be one of those situations where your defense is on the field and you need to hold them, and you're like, get out there.
Yep. Hey.
He doesn't have to play the whole game, but when you need it most, hey
Bella. Hi, Bella.
Yeah, you
She's
say
like,
hi,
what is
everybody.
happening?
Well, thank you. You're the best doggy in the world. Say hi. What do you think? Travis Hunter to the Cleveland Browns? Yeah? You think he'd be a good wide receiver? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
I think also because he's not so physically dominant, it's hard having him as your number one corner. Number one corner is a shutdown corner, right? He has to be physically able to handle all the wide receivers. I don't think he can. I wonder how much terrorist teams are putting on trades to get a deal done somewhere in the top 5 or 10. If Shetty reports something like that on the draft night, we ain't going to be able to buy eggs no more.
damn. And we all thought it was the
That is
terrorists. Nah.
hilarious. Oh, man. I think that's hilarious. No, I mean, these are interesting positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're really looking at it, like we're looking at safety, corner. I have 2 safeties that are really amazing, and we have 4 corners, and any of these guys could all be in the first round. You know, and that's not even going to Trey Amos or Benjamin Morrison. You know, Maxwell Harrison, Darian Porter. You know, these guys are all second rounders.
Xavier Watson.
So I like all these guys, and it's hard. It's a very hard position to kind of tell you what to expect.
Yes.
You know, Benjamin Morrison and Xavier Watts does kind of, I don't know how to rank them. Coming out of Notre Dame, I'm not exactly sure. Because maybe it's my bias. I don't like Notre Dame. So maybe like that's why.
You don't like the sour ball helmets? No?
I just never liked Notre Dame. Even when I went there for my official visit, I did not like them. My mom went to Notre Dame. Yeah, it's just not for me.
Wow, your mom went to Notre Dame and you hate them?
Yeah,
you know,
I tell her all the time.
That's why
like the Golden Domers.
No, he does not, and that's why he's uninvited to the family cookout at least once a year. You know.
I'm the one cooking, so it's okay.
The one on the mom side.
There you go.
On the mom side. Dad's
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So I want you guys, the last thing we're gonna do, rank the guys that we watched today from 5 to 1.
5 to 1.
We watched 6, so I want you to rank them 5 to 1. Obviously,
5 to 1.
6.
Yeah. Well, okay, 5 to 1. Let me see. Man. Okay, I think I have my I have my 3. My 3 my 1 through 3 is easy. My 4 and 5 I guess I'll put Starks at 4, and I guess that would put Revel at 5 then. I guess I'd put Revel at 5. I like Starks at 4. 3, I have Nick. How do you say last name? Emmanuel?
Imawari.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible. Trust me. You could clip me just saying horrible, butchering last names. I'm terrible at that. And then number 2 would be Travis Hunter, and then 1 would be Will Johnson.
Okay.
Barron at 6, huh?
Yeah, so you have Barron outside your top 5. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
Well, I'm going to put Barron at 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like Revel a lot, don't get me wrong, but I think
he froze. I was like, he's in deep thought. I was like, what do you think? All right, Mark's gonna come back in a second, guys. There he is. There it is.
I'm back.
He's back.
1 year of college, is it experience? Like, he has all the tangibles and the measurables, but I don't know. I just have to put him at the 6. I'm gonna go Malachi Starks 4.
That's good.
No, sorry. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go Nick 3.
Smart choice.
And then I'm gonna go Johnson, and then Hunter.
Okay. I'm going to go Starks 5, Barron 4, Imanwari 3, Travis Hunter 2, and Will Johnson number 1.
So our lists are very similar. Yeah.
So
I guess if we're going from a strict corner standpoint, I would flip Hunter.
Well, except for we're talking about like DBs here, so we can include safeties. It's fine.
He's talking about wide receiver too. So, but that I think
I'm saying from a draft standpoint,
who's going to go
Travis
first?
Hunter.
Travis Hunter will go first.
But I think Will Johnson is the better corner. He's going to be the
How
better
crazy
corner
would it be if Travis Hunter does become like primarily a wide receiver, but because he plays corner just enough, you get to put him in a corner?
I know. That's exactly
what I want. That's what I want.
Can you imagine you're going to win just about every game because your corner is going to get you 40 to 50 points.
Exactly. That's why you have to have him as rookie. You have to have the first 2 years.
Yes.
You do not Texas squad this dude. You play him immediately.
I guess we know who you're drafting in the first round if he's there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, don't worry. I'll snag him for you boys, and then I'll ask for a nice asking.
Although I'm pretty sure Braden would take him before you, so
because Braden's not stupid. But then if Braden drafts him, then it means he's going to be hurt immediately.
No, I was going to say Braden drafts him just means he'll trade him away in 2 or 3 years. But which might not be the worst thing because he probably won't be playing both positions at that point. So.
As soon as Braden drafts him, you're going to get a message from Adam Schefter saying he twisted his ankle. He's out for the first 6 months of the year.
No, don't you dare.
Brady, all he does is get damaged goods, man. That's all.
Brayden, don't draft him, please.
He had the 1 and 2 picks. Neither of those players are on his team anymore.
Exactly.
He had Bijan Robinson and Anthony Richardson.
AR.
Both of them gone. Traded them both away.
Yeah, I got CJ Stroud. Thank you.
That's funny.
Oh man. Okay, guys. Well, that's been fun. I think this is a real fun show. Going off to go over our defensive backs. I think next week we need to go over probably either wide receivers or we'll go over offensive linemen. That's up to you guys. We'll talk about it, but that's going to be another fun show because we have less than 2 weeks to get ready for this. It's coming so fast. 2 weeks. We're talking about 2 weeks from tomorrow. The NFL draft starts. We'll have all our answers. Sometime I think Sunday we're probably going to do our Dynasty Pylon 3.0 for our mock drafts of how we're going to see how this changes. Does Travis Hunter go number 2 now? Where do we change him? I'm saving them all up so we can kind of look at them and decide and try to do these trades to see how that works too. So we're having a whole lot of fun. So join us on Sunday, 10 a.m. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, or 11 Eastern, for our Dynasty Pylon 3.0 draft. So, but thank you guys for being here. Thank you for everyone who was in the comments.
Yeah.
Alec, thank you for being here. Mark, thank you for being here. And I'm gonna thank myself.
I'll sort of here.
Let's go.
Yes. And then I also want to just say a big shout out for people that I personally haven't seen here, like Sparkle. I think that's named Sparkle. Welcome. Fancy seeing you here. Welcome on in. I always like to say hi to all the new people. I hope you enjoy your stay. It only costs $3.99. It's $3.99 to watch.
Get some information, guys.
Exactly.
Check out these guys. Come up with your own opinions. You don't have to listen to everyone else.
Nah.
You can listen to them, but then know what you think.
Yes. Don't listen to anybody else except for me, because my team won the Super Bowl. So you can trust me,
And by Alec.
Get the move.
All right, guys. We Dynasty Pylon, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
I didn't even know that was a thing you could do.
He's not banned from the studio. I'll keep
ban someone from the studio.
You're not allowed to come here anyway. I'll take my ball home and leave it.
You can kick, but then underneath kick, it literally says ban.
Damn.
That's insane.
Tough.
You better watch it out. I'm just kidding.
Next week, we'll see. See you guys on Sunday. Later.
Later.
Getting hyped when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate.